Miley Cyrus, her original smile was so cute and youthful. Now her teeth literally look like one of those little chattering teeth toys. It looks like she put one of those in her mouth. Like, she literally can't close her mouth properly because the chompers are chomping.
Looking at these photos makes my teeth hurt.
Veneers are one option for improving your grin. The procedure has been growing in popularity and is a $2.7 billion industry, okay?
Picture it for a second. You're a singer up on stage, thousands of people in front of you, every phone in the air, the whole crowd singing your words right back to you. And then, right in the middle of your biggest note, something shifts. Not your voice, not your expression, your actual teeth. That really happened to a country legend in 2025, and don't worry, we are absolutely getting to her tonight because we're counting down 15 stars whose smiles changed so dramatically that fans and even dentists online simply could not stop talking. And honestly, nothing is going to prepare you for number one. Here's the thing most of us never really stop to think about. When a famous person flashes one of those bright, flawless, camera-ready smiles, we just quietly assume they were born that way. Good genes, lucky them, end of story. But that is almost never the full picture, because behind so many of those smiles is an entire industry pulling the strings. There are casting directors who want that perfect leading man look. There are high-definition cameras catching every tiny flaw, and there's a small handful of celebrity dentists whose work started showing up on face after face, until a lot of these smiles slowly began looking strangely, almost eerily identical. So I went digging through old interviews, tabloid stories, viral posts, and breakdowns from dental experts who study this stuff for a living. And what I found are 15 transformations that are part jaw-dropping, part heartbreaking, and honestly, a little bit unreal. Some of these stars fixed it. Some went viral for all the wrong reasons. And one of them, like I said, happened live, on stage, in front of a roaring crowd. So let's get into it. Number 15, Keith Urban. Let's ease in nice and gentle because number 15 is so subtle that a lot of people never even noticed it happen. Back in the 90s, Keith Urban had a smile that fit his whole world perfectly, with a little gap between his front teeth and a naturally weathered look that felt lived in and real. Exactly what you'd want from an Australian country star with a guitar. But then his career took off in a big way. He was selling out world tours. He was sitting in the judge's chair on American Idol. And in 2006, he married Hollywood royalty. And somewhere along the way, fans started noticing that Keith's signature gap had quietly disappeared, replaced by a row of bright, perfectly even teeth. Now, his new smile genuinely looks great, and nobody's arguing with that. But dental folks online point to Keith as a textbook example of something that happens a lot in this business, where an artist trades a charming little quirk for that industry-standard symmetry. And here's the part that reads as a touch unreal to some people. When that ruler-straight, flawless alignment sits on a face that has aged naturally, with real lines and real character, our eyes quietly pick up on the mismatch, because human teeth are supposed to shift and wear over 50 years of living. Country music used to celebrate those rough edges, but the polished star machine slowly sanded them off. And at least Keith's change was gradual. The next one flipped almost overnight, right after she swore she'd never touch her teeth. Number 14, Jordyn Woods. Number 14 honestly stung a lot of fans because Jordyn Woods made them a promise. As a model, an entrepreneur, and Kylie Jenner's longtime best friend, Jordyn built her whole brand on confidence, and her most recognizable feature was the gap between her two front teeth. Back in 2017, when trolls kept telling her to fix it, she fired back with a line that people absolutely loved, saying she would not close her gap just to blend in with the rest of society, and that her gap was part of who she was. People held that up as a little anthem for loving your own face. And then, barely a year later, in December of 2018, Jordyn walked into an LA dentist's office and had that gap closed with veneers. The reaction was instant, and a chunk of her fan base felt a little betrayed, filling her comments with questions about what happened to loving the gap that made her her. But I want to be fair to Jordyn here, because she pushed back gently and honestly, explaining that she just woke up one morning and decided to do it, that she wanted to try something new, and that life is about evolving.
It's Jordyn Woods. I'm here at Dr. Cam's office. I discovered him on Instagram about 8 years ago, and I'm still here. He's the best, my teeth are amazing, and I wouldn't have gone to anyone else.
And really, that one story sums up this whole list, because when you live your entire life online, under that constant pressure to look perfect, even the people who fight hardest against it sometimes feel the pull. Jordyn made her choice, and she owned it. The next star went bold for years, and then quietly walked the whole thing back. Number 13, Miley Cyrus. Number 13 is a redemption arc, and a lot of you watched it play out in real time. Back in the Hannah Montana days, Miley Cyrus had such an endearing smile, a little gummy, slightly uneven, and bursting with energy, and it matched her whole face in a way that made her feel like someone you actually knew. Then she shed the Disney image, and her smile transformed right along with the rest of her, getting whiter, longer, and broader, until by the early 2020s, the whole shape of her mouth looked different. Things really came to a head around 2023 and 2024, during big appearances like the Grammys, when fans online started describing the look as bold, almost too much, especially as her features got more sculpted and angular. Dental experts speculated about gum work and a full set of veneers, though Miley herself has never confirmed any of it, so we'll keep that as speculation. But here's the lovely turn. Through late 2024 and into 2026, fans noticed her smile soften and look more balanced again, and there's a real conversation online that she had the work refined and scaled back down, with people happily saying the Hannah Montana smile was back. What we can say for certain is that the public mood has swung hard toward natural lately, and even the boldest stars are feeling it. Miley dialed it back down. The next one dialed it all the way up, in a world where the pressure to keep up never quite lets go. Number 12, NeNe Leakes. Number 12 takes us into the world of reality TV, where the pressure to keep up is a whole different animal. When NeNe Leakes first exploded onto Real Housewives of Atlanta, she had one of the most expressive faces on television, and every eye roll, every reaction, every iconic one-liner landed because her face could do absolutely anything. But here's what tends to happen on those shows. As the franchise got richer and the cameras got sharper, the pressure on the whole cast to look flawless just kept climbing.
I'm NeNe Leakes, and I need a life changer.
And so NeNe went to a well-known Beverly Hills cosmetic dentist, Dr. Sam Saleh, for a big full-mouth veneer reconstruction, reportedly somewhere around $50,000. The conversation that followed was full of genuine concern, with people online worrying that the work was so extensive it had changed how freely she could smile and react.
I feel like I started the whole veneers thing. My veneers were done by Dr. Deborah King in Atlanta, Georgia, and
which was the very thing that made her a star in the first place. And here's the detail that really says it all. Even Dr. Saleh himself has said his whole philosophy is to avoid the overdone look, and he's used a pretty blunt phrase for veneers gone wrong. When the experts themselves are drawing that line, you know the trend had gotten extreme. Reality TV slowly turned a smile into a status symbol, and the arms race was on. That one was about keeping up with money. The next is about age, and whether a person can ever really be too young for this. Number 11, JoJo Siwa. Number 11 sparked a debate that dentists are honestly still having today. You know JoJo Siwa from Dance Moms, the giant colorful bows, the whole bubbly kid star energy. And back then she had a natural, slightly gap-toothed grin that suited her personality perfectly. Then she grew up, rebranded, and got a full set of veneers, top and bottom, from one of the most famous dentists in Beverly Hills, Dr. Kevin Sands, choosing a bright shade and a big, confident smile. And to her credit, JoJo has been completely open about all of it, joking that her teeth were the most expensive thing she owned, somewhere around 50 grand.
Most expensive thing, I'm wearing my teeth.
And saying she genuinely loves her smile. So this one really isn't about her at all. It's about the bigger question sitting underneath it. A well-known dentist on TikTok, the one behind the Veneer Check account, gently flagged just how young JoJo was for a full set like that. And that kicked off a real conversation about whether perfectly healthy young teeth needed the work in the first place. Because here's the part that makes people pause. Shaping your teeth for veneers is a permanent decision. There's no going back to the originals. And when child stars grow up under so much pressure to look polished and grown up fast, those choices tend to come very, very early. JoJo went into hers wide-eyed and happy. The next person didn't choose anything for vanity because what he did to his own teeth was for a movie role, and it is wild. Number 10, Nicolas Cage. Number 10 is pure old-school Hollywood, and it is genuinely wild. Early in his career, Nicolas Cage had a smile that matched his whole offbeat, electric energy with a little gap, uneven teeth, and a duller natural color that was honestly part of what made him so strange and watchable. Then came one of the most committed acting choices you will ever hear about. For a film back in 1984 where he played a deeply wounded young man, Cage actually had a couple of his teeth taken out to look the part, the real thing, no movie magic. He later explained that they were baby teeth anyway, and that he figured pulling them would add something interesting to the character. That is Nicolas Cage in a nutshell. But here's the arc that matters. As he became a full-on leading man in the 90s, he had had everything rebuilt, with new teeth to fill the gaps, bright and gleaming and uniform. And a lot of longtime fans felt that the new perfection actually smoothed over the very edge that made him so magnetic in the first place. Then it came full circle in the best possible way. For his 2023 vampire comedy, the team built special fang prosthetics that fit right over his expensive veneers, so he could play a monster without ever touching the real work underneath. By the 90s, the unspoken rule was that every A-lister needed that uniform smile. Cage rebuilt his completely. The next legend spent decades on his and chose to keep one famous flaw on purpose. Number 9, Tom Cruise. Number 9 might just be the most famous smile in movie history, and it's definitely the most fascinating. If you go back to Tom Cruise's early roles, his teeth were genuinely crooked and a little discolored. And for one gritty film in 1983, he reportedly even had a cap taken off a tooth to look rougher for the part. Then came decades of work. He wore visible ceramic braces in his early 40s, debuting them right there on a red carpet, which for a leading man at that level was a seriously bold move. And after that came a full set of bright porcelain veneers. But here's the detail fans have been staring at for years. It's the middle tooth. Because the alignment of his bite never fully centered, Tom has one front tooth that sits almost dead in the center of his face, right under his nose, instead of two teeth meeting in the middle. And once you notice it, you genuinely cannot unsee it. Now here's the twist that makes this one so interesting. Top dentists actually say that little imperfection is exactly what saves him, and they call it a realism anchor, because his teeth are so flawless otherwise that the one slightly off detail is the thing keeping him from looking like a polished robot. Think about that for a second. The most expensive smile in Hollywood works precisely because it held on to one tiny human flaw. Tom kept his on purpose. The next one's smile changed for a reason that had nothing to do with vanity at all. Number 8 got blamed on plastic surgery, but the real story is so much more human than that. You first fell for Zac Efron as the High School Musical heartthrob, and his signature back then was a little gap between his front teeth. Charming and totally boy next door. He closed that gap early on with braces and likely some veneers to step into grown-up leading roles, which was all pretty normal Hollywood stuff. But then, in 2013, came the part nobody saw coming, when Zac slipped at home in his socks and badly injured his jaw on a stone fountain. During the long recovery, the muscles along his jaw grew significantly bigger, which dramatically widened the lower half of his face, and that's what led to the viral jaw moment fans spotted in 2021. People saw the much wider jaw paired with a row of ultra-white teeth and instantly assumed he'd had surgery, but Zac set the record straight himself, and he was refreshingly blunt about it, explaining that the jaw muscles had simply grown and gotten really, really big. On the rumors, he basically shrugged and said his mom told him about them, that he doesn't read the internet, so he doesn't really care. The truth was, an accident plus some real dental work to fix his bite afterward, not vanity at all. But that's the trap of fame, where every single change becomes a public mystery you're forced to explain. Zac's was an accident. The next one was a literal business decision made by a movie studio. Number 7, Ben Affleck. Number 7 proves just how far this industry will go, because Ben Affleck didn't even ask for it. Back in his Good Will Hunting days, his teeth were small, a little uneven, and completely natural, but the studio had a much harsher word for them, calling them baby teeth. So when Affleck was cast in the 1998 blockbuster Armageddon, director Michael Bay decided his leading man needed a proper leading man smile. And years later, on the film's DVD commentary, Bay said it right out loud that they paid for a set of $20,000 pearly white teeth. According to the story, Affleck sat in that dentist's chair for a full week, 8 hours a day, getting an entire smile rebuilt on a deadline, all for a movie. And Affleck himself has confirmed the pressure, saying they made him fix his teeth, work out. We even got outside backup on this one, because years later, Kate Beckinsale shared that when she worked with the same director, Ben actually warned her, telling her they'd made him get new teeth. The wild part is that it worked, and those teeth helped turn him into a global A-lister. But it's also the clearest example on this whole list of a smile being treated like nothing more than a movie prop. That was a grown man and a studio. The next one was a teen idol, a microphone, and a moment that went very wrong, live, on stage. Number 6, Hilary Duff. Number 6 is for all the early 2000s kids, because this one really hits home. Hilary Duff was the teen idol, Lizzie McGuire herself, and her smile was so relatable, a little uneven, and totally natural. The girl next door we all grew up with. She's been open that she was sick a lot as a child and on antibiotics, so her teeth were never the strongest, and that's exactly where the story takes a turn. Hilary kept chipping her teeth on the microphone during shows, and at one performance, she actually lost half of her 2 front teeth right there on stage. She got emergency bonding done at 6 in the morning in a tiny northeastern town, then proper veneers once she got back to LA, and when the press asked her about it, she basically said, "Why is this anyone's business?" Fair enough, but that first set got criticized online for being too big for her face, with people calling them horse teeth, and piano keys long and blocky and a little too bright. And then there's the detail that makes you wince for her. On her wedding day back in 2010, a tooth came loose as she was getting ready, and she burst into tears, then laughed, then burst into tears all over again, until a friend of a friend who happened to be a dentist saved the whole day, and she simply said, "Thank God I didn't swallow it." The happy ending is that Hilary later had them redone smaller and softer and more natural, and dentists now point to her as restraint done right. Hilary's smile got fixed. The next ones came out in the middle of a bagel. Number 5, Cardi B. Number 5 is honestly kind of iconic because Cardi B has never once hidden any of it. Before the fame, back on Love and Hip Hop, she had a recognizable gap and uneven teeth that trolls absolutely went after. So in 2017, she went to a New York dentist, Dr. Catrice Austin, and got a full set of porcelain veneers for a confirmed price of $12,500, not the 40 grand the internet keeps repeating, since her own dentist set the record straight on that. Cardi was so proud of her new smile that she rapped about fixing her teeth in Bodak Yellow, joking that it definitely wasn't cheap, and she stayed completely real about why she did it, telling fans that if people talking about you is wearing you down, then go ahead and fix it because it's okay. But then came the moment fans absolutely adored her for. In March of 2024, Cardi bit into a hard bagel, and one of her veneers popped clean off. And instead of hiding it, she filmed herself laughing about the whole thing, asking why on earth her veneer had come out on a bagel of all things. The comments were full of people saying that's exactly why they loved her, because she's so real. And the whole moment was a reminder that even a flawless, paid-for smile can be surprisingly fragile. Cardi laughed off losing one tooth. The next one lost 4 and ended up living on soup. Number 4, Chrissy Teigen. Number 4 is the most relatable disaster on this entire list. Chrissy Teigen has been wonderfully honest about her teeth for years.
I just lost my tooth in a fruit roll-up.
Explaining that she's a chronic nighttime grinder and that over time she had her front teeth shaped down into what she called little pencil points to make room for her new smile. And then the mishaps just kept on coming. Years ago, while filming a travel show in Bangkok, Chrissy had several sets of temporary teeth, ground them down on a long flight, and even ended up with a tooth coming loose in her food on camera. But the famous one came during inauguration week in 2021, when she bit into a soft little fruit roll-up and a tooth came right off. So she posted the video, captioned it simply, "Welp," and joked that she'd love that tooth like it was a real one. She revealed the full damage later too, sharing that she'd lost 4 temporary caps in total and lived on soup and mashed potatoes until they were fixed, with a takeaway that was honest and kind of perfect, that you truly have no idea how important your teeth are until they're gone. And then, just to keep the streak alive, in late 2024, she lost a front veneer opening a candy cane. Behind all that glamour, the upkeep is constant, and it's delicate, and Chrissy kept her sense of humor through every single bit of it. The next one paid a fortune for a smile he later compared to something out of a horror film. Number 3, Simon Cowell. Number 3 is the actual definition of gone too far, and he's the rare star who admitted it himself. You know Simon Cowell as the famously blunt TV judge, and his natural teeth were always a little crooked and off-white. Then, around 2019, at a big talent show premiere, Simon debuted a brand new smile that was extremely white, very square, and so uniform and large that it almost looked like it could barely fit, and the internet absolutely erupted. A UK poll found that something like 3 out of 4 people felt it was, in their words, tooth much. The memes compared that bright, flat look to all sorts of household objects, and one viral post that summer simply asked what on earth had happened to his face and racked up tens of thousands of likes. Dentists weighed in too, explaining that the shade was so blindingly white and the teeth so square with none of those tiny natural gaps near the gum line that the whole thing read like one solid block. And here's why Simon lands at number 3. He agreed with everyone, openly saying there was a stage where he might have gone a bit too far, that he saw an old photo of himself and didn't even recognize the new look, and he compared it to something out of a horror film. So he had it all redone, softer and more natural, and across all the years, he reportedly spent over $100,000 on his teeth. Simon's smile was fixable. The next one revealed something underneath that genuinely shocked everyone. Number 2, Katie Price. Number 2 is the cautionary tale that kicked off a viral warning. Katie Price, the British star, has been open about changing a lot about her look over the years.
I had my own fat put under my eyes because they didn't want to cut my eye, because as you get older, you do get wrinkles under here. So I had my own fat put under there, and then here at the side, I just had it lifted.
And her dental journey actually goes way back, since she damaged her teeth in a fall as a child and had cosmetic work from a young age. The real trouble came from chasing a brighter, bigger, bolder smile, often abroad where it cost less. And the more she chased it, the more the work needed redoing, because her natural teeth kept getting weaker underneath. Then, in 2020, Katie did something most people never would. She filmed her own dentist visit and showed the world what was hiding under her crowns, revealing that her natural teeth had been filed down really small to make room for them. She handled it with humor, joking that she looked like a Bond villain, the man with the metal teeth. Even though 2 of her veneers had come loose and 1 tooth had become infected, that footage went absolutely massive, and it sparked the whole online conversation warning people about filing healthy teeth down for cheap cosmetic work. Katie has since said that her teeth have no grip anymore, that she sometimes has to eat her food cut up small, and that her crowns occasionally come loose. And this is really the big lesson of the entire list, because once that enamel is shaved away, it is gone for good. As eye-opening as all that was, though, it still happened in a dentist's chair. Number 1 happened on a stage, mid-song, in front of a packed crowd. Number 1, LeAnn Rimes, the one I promised you, and it is genuinely unreal. LeAnn Rimes was a real child prodigy, famous at 13. And she got her very first veneers at just 16 years old. Over the years that followed, dealing with jaw pain and a long run of ongoing dental work, LeAnn went through a huge number of procedures, and it got serious enough that in 2013, she even took a former dentist to court. Overwork, she said, had caused her a lot of pain, so there was already decades of fragile history behind that smile. Then came June of 2025. She was performing a concert at a casino in Washington State, right in the middle of the song One Way Ticket, when she felt something pop in her mouth, and her front dental bridge had come loose on stage in front of everyone. So what did LeAnn do? She ran off, pushed it back into place, came right back out, and finished the entire show holding her teeth in with her lip, joking to the crowd that she had never realized just how many F&Sh sounds were packed into her own lyrics. She later called it the most epic experience ever, and even told the next night's front row to get ready, and to please return them if they happened to come flying out. Fans were absolutely floored. Not by the mishap itself, but by how gracefully she handled it. And behind that polished, camera-ready smile were decades of real, delicate work and a whole lot of pressure. So there it is, 15 smiles, with a whole lot more going on under the surface than any of us tend to assume. The 3 everyone keeps coming back to are right there at the top. There's LeAnn Rimes, finishing her show while literally holding her teeth in place. There's Katie Price, showing the world exactly what was hiding under those crowns. And there's Simon Cowell, the man who went so bold that he admitted he didn't even recognize himself and then bravely walked the whole thing back. But when you line them all up, the real story isn't about vanity at all. It's about the pressure to have one very specific kind of smile in an industry that studies every close-up under lights that show absolutely everything. Some of these stars found their way back to looking like themselves, and some are still on that journey. And it really does make you wonder what the next few years of all this will look like, especially now that natural is finally coming back into style. If these stories made you feel something, go ahead and hit subscribe, because we dig into the real human side of fame here every single week.